Welcome here. Really glad to have you at Camp Live. Very excited. This is the first time I've interviewed a maestro, and a two-state maestro nonetheless, where you are a conductor here up in Northwest Indiana as well as in Florida. You've put together the Whiting Park Festival Orchestra. Mm-hmm. I'm very excited to have you here. I don't know much about orchestration, but I know it requires an incredible amount of collaboration among people, and the thought of getting, whether it's 30 or 75 musicians to all do something like that, I can't imagine the control involved.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you started, who inspired you to develop that kind of a discipline.
Well, first of all, let me say it's a pleasure to be here and talk with you. And the Whiting Park Festival Orchestra, this is going to be our 27th season. So
That's remarkable.
It is remarkable. So I started this orchestra with Marty Dybel in 2000, but the Summer with the Symphony, which is the series of summer concerts we play on, actually started in 1994.
Okay.
And I started that with him too. So we've been at this for a long time. And I have to say that it's a pleasure to stand on the podium in front of that wonderful orchestra in that historic pavilion right there on the lake in that gorgeous park and play music for, thousands of people for over a quarter of a century now. It's really great. So your question was, how did I get started?
Yeah. What put you early on the track to be standing there on the lakeshore,
Sure,
orchestrating all those talented people?
As is true of many people, I can credit my mother for this, because my mother was a piano teacher, and so when I was a really little boy, like 4 years old, I started playing piano. She taught me how to play piano, and then shortly after that, my grandmother had a big house, and she was renting out rooms to renters who were coming to South Bend. We're talking about mid-1950s.
Got it.
And she had a renter who was a violinist in the South Bend Symphony. She said, "I have a grandson who wants to be a musician." I'm not sure whether I ever said that, but
She emotionally willed you.
She did. And so she said, "I'll give you a discount on your rent if you'll give my little Bobby," as everybody called me then, violin lessons. So that's sort of my origin story.
The serendipity of that relationship.
Yeah, and then as I advanced, I had other violin teachers. Eventually, I studied with Edwin Hames, who was the conductor of the South Bend Symphony, and a violinist, wonderful violinist, fine conductor, lovely gentleman, and so I'm talking about now. I'm like 10, 11 years old. I would go to South Bend Symphony concerts, and there would be my teacher, Edwin Hames, conducting it, and there would be Nathan Milstein or Van Cliburn would be on the stage with him. And I thought, wow, that really looks exciting. And then my parents sent me to the National Music Camp in 1963. This actually ties off to our opening concert here. So there I was, eager 15-year-old, and
ready to take on the world of music.
I took a class in conducting in the summer. First time I ever stood in front of an orchestra and conducted a piece. And I sat in the orchestra when the great Howard Hansen, who was a composer and a conductor and an educator, he was the dean of the Eastman School of Music for over 30 years. Wow. And Howard Hansen came and conducted the orchestra. And I talked to him after rehearsals. The important thing here is that Howard Hansen wrote a symphony called the Romantic Symphony.
Okay.
And our listeners, actually, even if they're not music lovers, if they like movies, they know this piece because at the end of Alien, remember Alien?
Yep.
Sigourney Weaver? Well, remember when she pops the hatch open and the alien flies out? Yeah. The music is the theme from Howard Hanson's Romantic Symphony.
Wow.
Yeah, she's all nervous,
Yeah.
and then she pops the hatch open and out goes the alien, and the Howard Hanson Symphony bursts out with triumph. So that theme actually was the camp theme. We played it after every single concert.
Wow.
And whoever the guest conductor was didn't conduct. The concertmaster would conduct. And then I went to the academy, which was a year-round boarding school.
Okay.
And we played it after every concert. So I played that theme, oh boy, I probably played that theme 50, 60 times.
Wow.
So when I became a conductor, professional conductor, I programmed this piece a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it for years. And this year, in part because of the America 250 semi-quincentennial, there we go.
I really am glad you tackled that, not me. I would have butchered that.
Yeah. I wanted to make American music kind of the centerpiece of the whole summer.
Yeah.
And so for the opening concert, because it's just kind of important to me, I wanted to play this piece. First of all, it's very cinematic, and it's something that inspired even John Williams. It's not long.
Yeah.
It's about 25 minutes long. But it's a great, great, wonderful symphony. And so it kind of ties together a lot of things for me. So it's the opening. The opening work actually is Leonard Bernstein's Candide Overture. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
But it's on the opening part of this concert. Is that fantastic symphony by Howard Hanson, who I played this piece under him, and it probably I would say is one of the reasons why I became a conductor.
It's unbelievable the impact people can make on your life when they don't know it or when you don't even know it. And
Right.
that moment stuck with you, and that's what you built a whole career around.
Yeah, for over 50 years now.
Wow. Unbelievable. I can't even imagine what I could have done if I just would have stuck with my saxophone
That's
career.
right.
Tell me specifically about the series and then the concert that you're really focused on.
Sure. Well, like I said at the beginning of our conversation, this, of course, is the America 250 year. And so I tried to build the whole season with a kind of an eye on that project. And so there actually are 17 American composers represented over the 4 concerts. And just so, in case our listeners don't know much about this, the Whiting Park Festival Orchestra performs in the Mary Burchick Pavilion in Whiting Lakefront Park. The setting is gorgeous. The orchestra is amplified, so you can hear fine. The view is fantastic. You're sitting there and you can see the pavilion and you can see the lake right behind it and the skyline of Chicago right there. Concerts are free, and parking is $10 for the car. So it's comfortable, it's easy, it's convenient. There's a concession stand there, which has really, hot dogs and all the rest of that. But you can bring a picnic basket or a picnic table. So
It's very accessible.
Yeah. So probably they're eager to know, when are these concerts?
Yes.
So the opening concert is on July 18th.
Okay.
We're calling it a Sparkling Summer.
Okay.
And it's sponsored by Arts Alive and BP and Cargill and Centier Bank. And thanks to those sponsors, we can present free concerts. So the second concert is on August 8th.
Okay.
And it's called River Rhapsodies.
Okay.
And this program was inspired by the fact that last winter, my wife and I went on a Danube cruise.
Oh, I want to do that.
Oh,
my
and
wife and I have talked multiple times about doing that.
Absolutely. It's fantastic.
We got to get your itinerary and model
Well,
it
this
after
is an
that.
itinerary. It starts in Budapest.
Okay.
And you go along the Danube all the way to Vienna, and you go back to Budapest, and then we extended our trip and went to Prague.
Wow.
After that, where actually I conducted in Prague in the 1990s. So We didn't talk about the international part of my career, but we'll get there.
You're the first person that actually ever said I conducted a symphony in Prague in the 1990s. It's awesome for me.
So the August 8th concert at River Rhapsodies is sponsored by People's Bank and the John W. Anderson Foundation.
Wonderful.
I got my notes here because I can remember all the pieces, but I can't remember the sponsors. So August 22nd is called Fiesta.
Okay.
And I picked music that represent Spanish culture from all over the world. It's sponsored by the city of Whiting.
Okay.
Steve Spibar is the mayor, of course, and we're very grateful to the city of Whiting because they sponsor not only this concert, but they help sponsor the whole program.
And they really do drive entertainment and the arts in the city. They invest in it. They expose it. They share it. They host it.
Right.
They do a lot.
The final concert is on September 6th.
Okay.
And we call that America at 250, a red, white, and blue celebration.
Okay.
And that's sponsored by the Barron Funeral Home and the Tech Credit Union. And our guest star for that one is a fantastic pianist named Jeffrey Beagle.
Okay.
And Jeffrey got the idea of commissioning an American composer who I very, very much enjoy doing his music, Peter Boyer.
Okay.
So Peter Boyer wrote a piece called Rhapsody in Red, White, and Blue.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, and Jeffrey has played this piece in every state in the Union. He's been working on this project for about 3 years now. He's played it in every state in the Union, and this one will be his 70th performance of this Rhapsody. Wow. So that's kind of the musical highlight of that program, but of course that's the one that ends with the 1812 Overture and fireworks too.
Yeah.
So, and the Stars and Stripes forever.
It's a spectacular. How do you take what you learned and all those folks that mentored you, how does that sustain itself in Northwest Indiana? How do you keep that industry alive?
Really, an art form, if you tap into its vibrancy, it sustains itself. And the art form evolves itself so that it meets the interests and it appeals to the emotions of the audience of whatever time, whatever year you're playing it in. So a Beethoven symphony was fantastically appealing when he wrote the Eroica, in 1808, 1805. Well, it meant one thing. But our cultural history of 200 years later, how it lands, what it means, evolves.
Yeah.
And if it's great, I mean, there are plenty of composers like Louis Spohr who were contemporaries of Beethoven, but the art itself wasn't compelling enough to transcend the time that it was created in and keep renewing itself. So my job as a conductor or artistic leader is to know which pieces are the ones that are going to speak the most compellingly to whatever
that
audience
time for that audience.
At that time for that audience. And the audience, like you said before we came on the air, the audience that I'm playing for here and the audience that I'm conducting for in Sarasota, where my chamber orchestra is, it's a different setting, it's a different audience, it's a whole different feel.
And you really are reading the room or venue, so to speak, ahead of time, not only from, is this indoors, outdoors, is this small, is this large, am I conducting a full symphony, is it a chamber orchestra? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things, and then the locale and what the people are interested, their ages,
Sure.
What are they going to all respond to?
Right.
How do you do that? I think you said there's 70 in the orchestra, or more than that?
Here?
Yeah.
45.
Or 45.
45 or 50.
45 to 50. How do you get 45 or 50 people? This is what fascinates me from the human behavior standpoint. How do you get 45 or 50 people to just perform on point for note after note after note after note? They got flats, sharps, all this stuff. How do you get them to do it?
And there's another little miracle here too, which is that we only have one rehearsal. So we start a rehearsal at 2:00, and they all show up, and we get together. I have a wonderful administrative system that supports it, so they've all gotten the music in advance, and we hire professional players. So they know they better, and they know what they're coming in for, so they come prepared.
Yeah.
On my side, well, there are some pieces that I maybe would really love to conduct, but I know for this audience and for this setting and an outdoor setting and with the amount of rehearsal time I have, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a good piece.
Yeah.
So that's one of the factors I take into account when I'm programming. But as to how the thing actually works, I know what the players need. They know they can depend upon me. You know, maybe you're a piccolo player. You've been sitting counting rest for 35 measures, and then you have to come in and you do count right. You know, well, if you know the conductor is going to play now, that gives you confidence when you play. Yeah, it's kind of like a flow state in a way. You know, once they lock in. If I want to go a little faster, I go a little faster. They come along. If I think something is too loud, I go like this. If I want to linger on something, I stretch a little bit, and that's pleasurable actually for the musicians. That there's a
variance.
that we're creating it. It's not just by rote.
Yeah.
We're creating it on the spot. If that's really working, the audience knows it.
Yeah.
The audience can sense that music is really happening.
And they see they're playing for us. They're not just playing. They're playing for us. They're playing with us, really.
That's right.
And I think that's just fascinating how that all transpires, because you got 45 people that you're trying to get in sync so they can go communicate with 450 people out there.
Well, more.
Or
1,000,
more.
I hope,
but you're trying to be the one person that keeps them all on point and senses the room and when do we need to do what. That's fascinating.
Yeah, thanks.
Tell me a little bit about the differences in audiences when you're, I'm learning some things, chamber orchestra, full orchestra, how many pieces, how many instruments, how does that all work? Maybe give us the orchestra for dummies that I would understand.
Sure. So the Whiting Park Festival Orchestra we have 20 strings. It would be nice if we had 40, but we don't need to do that because we're playing in an outdoor venue and there's microphones on every single stand.
Got it.
So the sound engineer can get this somewhat smallish string section in balance. Then we have 2 flutes, 2 oboes, 2 clarinets, 2 bassoons. That's a full woodwind complement. We have 4 horns. We have 3 trumpets. We have 3 trombones and a tuba and a timpanist. And we use a electronic piano, electronic keyboard. So if he needs to be a piano, he's a piano. And if he needs to be a harp, he's a harp. And then usually 3 percussionists. So you need somebody with the cymbals and the xylophone and all the rest of that stuff.
I think all those words, so I'm feeling good. The timbiest?
Timpani.
Timpani.
Yeah, timpanist, yeah.
And what is that?
Well, okay, so the sort of common parlance is the kettle drums.
Okay.
Those things that look like big copper kettles that you might brew gin in.
Yeah.
And they have a plastic head on the top. And they tune them because there's a pedal which they push up and down, and it tightens the ring around the top of the kettle,
which controls the vibration.
So it makes the head tighter, so the pitch goes up. It makes the head looser, so the pitch goes down.
There's so many nuances to it that to me, that's what I find fascinating, is you can't pay attention to one thing and just do it over and over again. You have to pay attention to so many different factors at the same time and then synthesize them.
Right.
That's wild.
It is wild.
Tell me about why you think Whiting continues to put so much time and energy into the arts like this.
Well, of course, Whiting's investment in its infrastructure and to maintain, on one side of it, sort of the town that time forgot, and on the other side of it, a pretty upbeat place with all those, the lakefront condos and, the industrial infrastructure that helps support that with BP and all the rest of them. Why do they do it? I think because they know that it's part of what makes a community successful.
And they've demonstrated a long-term commitment to it. It's not this year's flavor is, hey, we're going to put some money into festivals, events, or the arts. This is a long-term duration.
Yeah, and we're part of there's also, of course, the famous Pierogi Fest, and that 4th of July parade that's grand.
Yep.
And in the winter, there's the Christmas Lights Walk. We play concerts in the winter, too. We play at the Marion Theater Guild Auditorium in St. John the Baptist Church.
Okay.
We played there for almost the whole time.
Wow.
In fact, the soloist, I should mention, that our soloist on the opening concert is a wonderful soprano named Emily Yannius.
Okay.
And Emily she's from Valparaiso, actually.
Awesome.
She is a member of the Music of the Baroque. So she's an active professional singer in Chicago. She's been an adjunct vocal professor at Valparaiso University and Notre Dame University. She's sung with us twice. I mention that now because she sang with us on these holiday concerts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she has degrees from DePauw and Northwestern University. And she's going to sing one of my close to one of my absolute favorite pieces for voice and orchestra. It's called Knoxville, Summer of 1915.
Okay.
And it's hard to overstate how fantastic this piece is. The text was written by James Agee, and it's written in the voice of a 5 or 6 year old boy.
Okay.
And he's talking about life in small town Knoxville, more or less, in 1915, so a long time ago. And so his perspective of what's going on, and it's not a dirt poor family, but it's lower middle class.
Yeah.
And how life works, and what he sees, and how much he feels his parents, his mother and father love him. He talks about his aunt and his uncle. There's a trolley that comes through that scares him. And at the end, he asks an existential question. Everybody loves me, but nobody will tell me who I am, which is such a touching sentiment. Agee used it as the preface, or actually it was used as the preface to a book he wrote called A Death in the Family, for which he won posthumously. He won the Pulitzer Prize. So the piece is, it's about 15 minutes long, but it's so beautiful. And I called Emily and asked her. I didn't know whether she knew it or not. So
Yeah.
I wanted to do it. So I said, is this in your wheelhouse, or do you have someone you could suggest that is up to singing this piece?
Yeah.
And she wrote, I thought she was going to leap out of the email. She said, oh, I love that piece. I sang it on my graduate recital when I was in college.
Wow.
And I've always wanted to do it with orchestra, and I would love to do it with you if you want to do it with me.
Well, this is fascinating. We're going to have links to all this stuff underneath the video so people can go find the calendar for each of the events, the lineup for each of the events. But it really is like a stunning evening where you're sitting out there and you're thinking, I can't believe I get to do this right here in Northwest Indiana.
Well, I hope everybody will come up. If I could just have a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I'd like to hit some details about the other programs.
Absolutely.
So we already talked about the opening night.
Yeah.
So it's got the Howard Hanson Symphony, and it's got that Barber Knoxville Summer of 1915. But there's some other real riches on that program too. The River Rhapsodies concert. Okay, so I wanted to get as many rivers as I could get. Music. I wanted to go on a musical tour. Plus, I wanted to keep that America theme going. Yeah, so we're going to do Jerome Kern's Showboat, and we're going to do Henry Mancini's Moon River.
Okay.
But we're with kind of a nod to the Middle European population of Whiting. We're going to do the Moldau.
Okay.
Moldau. We're going to do the Blue Danube Waltzes, and we're going to do the Mississippi Suite by Ferdy Grofet. So got that river in there too. And I didn't want to leave out the Nile River, so we're going to do the Triumphal March from Aida. Then in August, I really want to mention this one because our guest artist is the wonderful, wonderful guitarist Javier Calderon. And Javier, I should say it correctly, Javier Calderon. Now, he's Bolivian, but what is important about Javier to me is that we went to high school and college together at the North Carolina School of the Arts.
Seriously?
Yeah.
And you've stayed in touch?
We've stayed in touch. He is now the head of the guitar program at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He studied with Andre Segovia.
I went to UW-Madison.
Yeah. I conducted in Madison.
Really?
I did.
I unfortunately am going to acknowledge, I can assure you I didn't come to see you. I was a very, very focused little student. I didn't go to concerts.
Well, you haven't missed your chance.
Yeah.
You can see me here.
Now I get to see you here.
So Javier's going to play the Concierto de Aranjuez by Rodrigo. We're going to do Aaron Copland's El Salón Mexico because I wanted to get those American composers in there. We're also going to do Lin-Manuel Miranda's medley of songs from Encarta, another American composer, and Chuck Mangioni's Children of Sanchez. So, and then Rimsky-Korsakov's Capriccio Español, which features big violin solos, which will be played by our concertmaster, Nick Orbovich. And Nick and I have known each other for, 35, 40 years. Nick is the music director of the Michigan City Chamber Music Festival.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's big solos in that for him. So there's lots of treasures there. And then the America 250 Red, White, and Blue, I've already mentioned Jeffrey Beagle is going to play the Rhapsody on Red, White, and Blue. But we're also going to do variations on Yankee Doodle by Virgil Thompson. There's the Armed Forces Salute, which we do every year. Wonderful, has all the, and then we're going to do a great piece by Morton Gould. What a great composer conductor he was, called Spirituals. It's a really terrific piece, and some music by Duke Ellington. So, yeah, it'll be a great concert as well.
And that wraps up the season.
That does. And I want to make sure I mention there's fireworks, an impressive display. And because this is the 25th anniversary of 9/11, we also have those searchlights that point straight up, that portray the Twin Towers. So it'll be a big event.
Unbelievable. Remind folks, where do you go to learn more? Online.
Right. So I don't remember the website number exactly, but if you Google
Yes.
if you Google Whiting Park Festival Orchestra, it will direct you to the webpage. But you can also find us on Facebook.
Okay.
And there's a way there where you can order. So the concerts are free, but you can be a subscriber
To support.
But that gives you some perks too. You get to sit in the reserved section.
Okay.
There's a kind of hospitality tent with little treats for the subscribers. So, and you get parking is covered. So your subscription gets you a lot of perks. Probably gets you more than it costs.
Well, and it also just is a sign that you're saying, I value this. I really support all of this happening in Northwest Indiana.
Many subscribers, which is a real tribute to the orchestra, actually.
Yeah, and everybody's commitment to music.
Yes. So that's the 4 concerts: July 18, August 8, August 22, September 6. Check out the website. Call. There's a phone number on the website that'll tell you where to go if you want to order a subscription. Otherwise, you just show up. But I will tell you this: don't come in at 7:25.
Yeah.
Because there's pretty big crowds, And there's also a chance that the infamous train
Blocks your
will
way.
block the way. You may have to wait a bit. So get there early, bring a picnic basket, and have a great time.
It's a night where you want to go and enjoy. You don't want to race into the concert. You want to go there and enjoy the setting and
Absolutely.
have a great evening. Well, thanks to you, thanks to the city of Whiting, thanks to everybody involved, from the performers to all those folks that are sponsoring and partnering. Thanks for sharing a little bit of your leadership development, and I look forward to seeing you at a couple of these.
Great.
And I'll try to be learning from your handiwork.
Okay, that's wonderful. Look forward to seeing you there.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, and thanks for tuning in.